Hi everyone, it's Jessica Dybzinski. Thank you so much for being here for a Makers with Heart video collaboration. This month we are all focusing on ways to use some die cuts. We call these thin cuts in Close to My Heart world. And I use my thin cuts all of the time, especially these alphabet ones here. These are the simple serif, uppercase and lowercase. And then honestly, I have two of these thin cuts that are actually for card making, and I use them for my scrapbook layouts all the time. So this one here is the waterfall thin cut, and I just love these extra shapes that come with it. I don't make waterfall cards very often, but I sure do love the stitched shapes that come with that particular thin cut set. The other one for cards that I use quite a bit for my layouts would be this one here. It is a slimline shaker window. I really love, again, this inner piece that has this fun stitching detail on it. And I'm going to show you a way to customize the size that you need for your scrapbooking layout. So I've gone ahead and kind of prepped my base pages here by cutting the papers and using a foam tool with some coordinating ink colors to edge distress. And then I also edge distress my cardstock. This is built on some glacier cardstock here, and I just use that little sanding disc there to pull off the color from the very edge of the paper. I am following a pattern from my Make It From Your Heart Volume 4 book, I believe it is, maybe Volume 3. And I've just, like I said, kind of gone ahead and prepped a few pieces because I really wanted to make the focus of this video these die cut pieces rather than the putting together of the actual page. So I did cut out from that waterfall thin cut a square and then a little banner that I'm going to use as some embellishment pieces. And then that simple serif alphabet, I love that. It is still available. I use it quite a bit to create titles for my pages. And here I have just done that with some sapphire cardstock. So I do want to cut one more piece though that I'm going to do for my journaling. So I'm using that piece from that slimline shaker window, and it is a little bit too long. I guess it would look okay if it were a little bit longer, but I wanted to fit inside of that cork piece of pattern paper. So I'm going to show you how to customize a die like this that maybe is longer or not long enough. You can make it work to the size that you need it to be. So let me get my die cutting and embossing machine out here. This is the one from Close to My Heart. I love it. And then I've got my plates that I use to make my sandwiches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little strip of white daisy cardstock, and you can see I've got lots of washi tape ready to go on my die cutting machine. I just keep reusing my pieces over and over again until they don't have any stick left to them. And I'm going to go ahead and kind of stick that piece down. Now I do want to measure how big is this piece of pattern paper that I want my white journaling piece to fit inside. So I measured that up, and then I used a pencil just to kind of mark off to the side on the extra part of the cardstock that's not going to be part of my die cut, just to see, you know, about how long approximately do I want that to be. So that way now I can tell how long I need this die cut to be. As you can see, it is longer than the piece that I need it to be. So what I'm going to do is take my top plate, and I am just going to partially cover the bottom plate. So you need the pressure of those two plates to make that die cut through the paper, right? So if you just kind of place it over part of it, then you're going to leave part of your paper uncut. So I have just kind of brought that top plate down just a little bit from my pencil mark because that way it's not quite as long as I need it to be just yet. I will run it through my machine. First, I'm doing this on top of my desk, and I've got stuff everywhere on the back side of that. So I was like running into things and knocking glue bottles over, but let me run that through. And now when I pull it off, you can see that only part of that cardstock has cut out, right? And so now what I'm going to do is I am going to kind of turn my paper a little bit here, grab that thin cut again, and I'm going to lay it back down, and I'm lining it up about where that pencil mark is. So that way the top of the die cut is, to the end of the length that I need it to be. When I set it down in my paper, it really just pops right into place because the die cut is finding that shape that has already cut, and it's got a scalloped little border on it. And so I just kind of moved it around until I felt it pop into place. Then I'm using a little bit more washi tape just to make sure that I really hold everything exactly where it needs to be. And then I will send it through again. I don't even actually go all the way through because I just really need that top little part of my rectangle to cut. And then I'll back it out. And when I pull this top plate off, you're going to see that now I have made that one long thin cut, which is designed for a slimline card. I have made it a custom size for my scrapbooking layout. So I cut a shorter piece, but I still have that finished top and bottom edge. So you could do this in the opposite direction too. If you wanted it to end up being longer, you could just keep going until you even had like a 12 by 12 piece. So just a really fun way to kind of make those types of die cuts work for whatever your project needs the size to be. Okay, I'm pulling in a couple of stamp and thin cut sets here as some embellishments. So I'm using the new School Friends plus the old Smarty Pants. Both of those are still available. And I've already kind of put those around my page, but I felt like it was still a little blank over there on the right-hand side. So we went back to that waterfall thin cut, which is for making waterfall cards, and I cut 2 more of the fun little shapes out of there. And what I thought I would do is just kind of add a little bit of stamping to them. And since this pattern paper has, it's a cork board, and this is, a layout that has to do with being in my classroom, I thought it'd be kind of fun to use an enamel dot to act as a push pin or a tack and make it look like these little die cut shapes are things that have been tacked to a cork board. So I'm just using some sapphire ink and some of the stamps that are on both of those stamp sets to kind of decorate these up. And then, like I said, I'm going to grab some enamel dots and I'm going to tack them to my cork board. So this is a really fun set of pictures here from a couple of years ago. I am a high school teacher, and at the end of summer, I have to go in and get my classroom set up. And my daughters, my son too, but at this time he was little and I didn't want to take him because he would have been more work than help. But I took my daughters into my classroom with me, and they just had so much fun sitting in there and kind of making some fun little notes. And they wrote on the board for my students, and I left it up for the first week of school. And they just had a sweet little message that was like, have a great first day of school. Can't wait to see you on Take Your Child to Work Day, things like that. And they made little notes that they went around and put on all of the desks. So my first hour students came in and had a little surprise waiting for them. And it was really cute because a lot of the kids use those notes as their bookmarks for the year, because I do teach English. And so they use them as their bookmarks all year long. And then some of the kids I had again the next year in my AP literature class, and they still used them as bookmarks. So they kind of held on to them for 2 years, and it was really sweet. But just a fun set of pictures to scrapbook, and I really loved the Smarty Pants papers from Close to My Heart here that I was able to use to make this layout. So you can see I've just kind of stamped my little corkboard pieces there. And now I've just grabbed some dots. I think these are from the Cake Day collection, but really I was just looking for a certain color. So there's a little bit of yellow in that zip strip there that has the alphabet on it. And so I just wanted to bring in a little bit more color. So I'm grabbing some of the lemonade colored enamel dots and just, like I said, putting them there to look like they're, tacks into the corkboard. I'll put one over on my journaling piece as well. And that's pretty much it. So off camera, just the last little details that I added. I've been using my liquid glass to go over the animals that have glasses on, just to kind of make it look, a little bit more like they're wearing glasses. And then I did use some black liquid pearls to add some more eyeballs to the giraffe since he wasn't wearing any glasses. So you can see those little details right here. But otherwise, this was a pretty quick and fun layout to do. So the Makers with Heart, like I said, are focusing on ways to use some thin cuts this month in our video collaboration. I am towards the end of the week, so a bunch of ladies have already gone. I will leave links to all of their videos in the description box down below, as well as links to any of the products that are available. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I hope you have been enjoying your summer. All right, happy crafting. See you next time. Bye.